Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome to Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days. This game just released into early access for $24.99. If you look at the Steam reviews, they're fairly positive, with many people comparing it to This War of Mine, saying it's a lot like that game but with zombies. Having played both games, I would agree with this comparison. They are quite similar in many ways, but Into the Dead's gameplay is a bit smoother in my opinion, and the graphics are better. That's probably because This War of Mine is 11 years old at this point. Alright, so let's go and get started. We will not be starting a new game. We're going to be continuing a save that I'm about a week in, I think. I believe I've been playing for about a week now. I didn't really want to show the early game. I wanted to show after we made a bit of progress. So this is our second shelter. It does have a mechanic where you move shelters, and the reason for that is because of these undead attacks. So every day has two phases, the daytime and the night. And after the night phase, your shelter will be attacked. You don't really see anything happen. It just reduces your current barricades. And the amount that will be reduced every night increases the longer that you're in a shelter. So eventually you'll have to move because you won't be able to repair the barricades fast enough, what you do over here. At this point, we can only do small repairs. That repairs 3 chunks of the barricade strength, but we can increase that a bit more later in the game. When you start a new game, you get to select which 2 characters you're going to start with. There's 5 different pairs of characters, and I selected Leo and Darrel. So just show you guys their current stats. Darrel has an iron stomach, so he can eat anything without getting an upset stomach. His melee weapons are cheaper to craft because he's a whittler. And basically it's 2 positive traits and 1 negative one. He's a bad cook. He can only cook slop at the cooking station. So meat and vegetable slop, and these can cause sickness. It doesn't cause sickness for him, but if other characters eat it, then it would cause some issues. And then we have Leo here. So he has the trait tough, so he takes less damage in combat, and slugger. He has increased damage with melee weapons. So I really selected this pair for this character here because he'd be great in combat and only at the cost of having higher hunger each phase. This is actually my second playthrough. I lost my first one because the combat in this game is kind of challenging, particularly if you're trying to face more than one zombie at a time. So with my second pair, I decided to go with Leo and Darrel so that I'd have a dedicated fighter. I've also found 2 additional characters. We have Frank, so he's a good cook, so he does all the cooking for our survivors. He's also got the scrapper bonus, so bonus damage to blunt melee weapons, and he has a bad back. And so that's unfortunate because this makes him pretty good to go out and gather resources, but with the bad back, he can't gather as much. So generally I like to use Leo for most of my gathering if I'm only going to send 1 character out, though generally during the day you want to send more than 1 character, which is what we're going to do in this phase. We're going to be sending 3 characters out. We'll start with Leo and then I'll show you guys our 4th and final character. We have 3 locations that I haven't explored yet, and between these 3 I think we're going to send Leo to the Walton Taxi Depot, which has some base resources, weapons, and food, not as much medical supplies. And we're going to need to set them up with some equipment. We'll probably want either the bolt cutters or the lockpick. You know, let's bring the bolt cutters. I don't really know exactly what we're going to need here, but it's a taxi depot, so I think that there might be something that the bolt cutters might be useful in. And you always want to equip your characters with multiple weapons, unless you're giving them one that has like a really high durability, because these weapons do not last a long time. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's one of the chief complaints that I've seen in the reviews is how easily the weapons break. Some of them you only get a couple hits. In fact, there's many of them you get like 1 hit. Fighting with your hands is incredibly ineffective, so you definitely don't want to run out of weapons. Now you might find weapons on the map, and the other thing you need to consider is you have limited backpack space, so if you bring too many weapons then you won't be able to get as much loot. But that's why you want to combine the low durability weapons, which will break and will clear out that slot, with some weapons that might last a little bit longer. So go ahead and set up Leo. We're also going to send Frank on a mission. We'll have him take care of the 15 Independence Boulevard, so that's a family home. It was once full of life, but now sits abandoned. Should be able to get us some food, maybe a few other things. And we're going to save our spiked bat for some of the harder levels. Let's give him the meat cleaver, maybe also the pipe wrench, and just a regular baseball bat. And then the last character that we're going to be sending out is Darrel. And he's going to be going to a location that I've already previously been to, because there's an area on this map that I haven't cleared yet, and I want to show you how this works when you go to locations that you've already been to. And because we've been here, there aren't as many zombies, so we won't give him as many weapons. So we got 3 characters that are going out today. So this is our 4th character, Joe. His traits are strong shoulders, so he has the extra backpack space, so he's alright for going out and collecting resources as well. He's also a gearhead, so he'll get extra component resources for dismantling, so we want to make sure we always use him for that. And he's depleted, so extra morale is lost when hunger is low. But we're going to have him rest. He's a little bit tired. And I like to have one character sleep each phase, just so that they get a bit more sleep from that better bed. The other bed we have, which is just a cot, isn't very good. So now that we've assigned all of our characters' actions for this phase, we need to hold B to confirm those actions. I am playing with an Xbox controller rather than the mouse and keyboard. I do find it a little bit easier to play with the controller. So I'm guessing, yeah, we have to climb up over this here. Now we can always leave the map at any time. We're sneaking right now so we don't wake up those zombies. Yeah, if we go back this way, we can head back to our shelter. Do not be ashamed of leaving a map if you get a little overwhelmed. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta count your losses and get home before you lose a character, because the game does have permadeath. So if a character dies, they're dead forever. Look at this poor guy with his busted leg. So we're gonna put him out of his misery and hopefully not wake up any of the other zombies. Oh, and that did not go the way we wanted. We wanted to stealth kill him, and I think that did result in us getting hit once, but luckily we did not wake anybody up. So we're going to find a lot of loot here. We got some scissors. That's a weapon that you can use one time. We also found a lockpick, which we didn't bring a lockpick, so that might be helpful. And we found some resources as well. So we're actually going to go ahead and equip those scissors just to open up the inventory slot. So you may have noticed the date. Game does take place in 1980. That's what we wanted to do, guys, is do the sneak kill. So that did destroy the scissors. They are a one-use weapon. And you can see with the hammer, we have already started to see the durability reduced. That's not going to last long. Found some vegetables and raw meat. Alright, some good stuff here. But already our inventory is full. And so we're going to have to start picking and choosing what we want to bring. Of course, we could just leave the map as well. We do have a flashlight. Yeah, I really do like the stealth focus in the game and some of the tools they give you, whether it's hiding behind things or just slightly opening the door so you can see what's on the other side. The hammer is a bit loud, and so we have now woken up the zombies here. Oh. So we're going to be running off of the map now. Getting out of here because we are going to be overwhelmed otherwise. Again, don't be afraid to leave the map. Or just to get on something tall until the zombies forget about your presence. So you'll know when the zombies have forgotten about you because they'll start moving slow again, their regular pace. And so we're going to go ahead and take out this guy. That will wake up that one. and we could fight him. But this hammer is about to break here. And I was worried about waking all those guys up, which is exactly what we just did. Because he did that scream. So you do need to consider the amount of sound that your weapon makes. So you can look at that in here and you see that this is a very noisy weapon, while the hatchet is a bit quieter. We do have a full backpack right now. So we're just going to kill this zombie here. That will destroy our weapon. And then we're just going to go back to our shelter to get all these resources. And remember, we have 2 other characters that are already going out today. So this is Frank in another location that I have not been to yet. It says no food here. We'll see if that's true or not. We do want to take a look at what weapons he has. He has the meat cleaver equipped now. That is a more silent weapon, and then the hammer that we were using. So hopefully this should go a bit better. Do keep in mind that this is an early access game, as I mentioned. So it is missing a few things and has a few issues, but overall it's a really solid early access game. So I don't think that zombie there is walking around. We're actually going to go ahead and go upstairs. Alright, so we do have 1 roaming zombie. But I have found that focusing on stealth and trying to be as stealthy as possible is generally the better way to go. As you saw on that last map, things got out of hand very quickly once we made too much noise. And fighting more than 1 zombie at a time, well, if it's only 2 and you have a decent weapon, that's not too bad. And that woke up that zombie. Wow. We didn't even make that much noise. Alright, so now we're gonna fight this one out here. We're gonna try and dodge. So we dodged once. But on the controller, well, I would tell you guys all the what the buttons are, for if you're curious, but I changed a lot of them. Because I just found they weren't as intuitive as I'd like them to be. They didn't fit with most of the games I play. I also don't really use an Xbox controller that often, because most of the PC games I play, I think this door is blocked, so I'll have to get to the other side some other ways. Is there a window over here we can go through? It's one thing to consider. No, the window's blocked. Alright, so I don't think there's anything we can do upstairs here, so we'll be going through the kitchen. Yeah, I don't play a lot of games like this on PC. Generally, I only play strategy games. Yeah, that zombie's still asleep. But might wake up when I loot this. We'll see. Looks like we can't pick any of that up. Well, we're actually doing pretty good on food. However, some of the stuff we might not need. Let's just take a look. Like, we could use the bottle to distract and wake up zombies, but we're gonna get rid of that. And that'll open up at least 1 slot here where we can pick up this meat, though I assume we might have to get rid of that as well. Could also get the scales for some base resources. You know what, let's get that. Alright, so let's get past this zombie here. And hopefully we can take this guy out without making too much noise. Our weapon is destroyed. That opens up another slot here. So we could pick up that meat. Let's equip the bat next. We also found a clue, a faint transmission. An unfamiliar voice is asking for an airlift out of the city. It seems someone they love is gravely ill. So this is a lead, and all plays a part in your escape plans. So there's 2 currently, but it says more plans are coming soon, because the idea here is that you're trying to get out of the city. I wonder if we can climb up this. We can. So this will allow us to find new locations. So whenever you see these vantage points, you want to make use of them. So you'll find more locations where you can get clues for your escape plan and loot more resources. I can see that there's somebody locked up over here. So I think if we open that, I mean, we can look in here. Looks like we actually were able to open it. I want to take all of these. And we'll just have to leave the vegetables and the rake. And I was worried that by looting over there, or picking that lock, which I didn't even see the option to pick it, might be because we don't have a lockpick. I don't think I brought one with this particular survivor, because he has so little equipment he can bring. Oh, we found a new person. So I wonder if this is somebody that we can recruit. First, let's loot. Priorities, guys. I don't really want to leave the healing kit. We do have a lot of those at home. We should probably leave the medicine and take the healing kit. I've not had anybody get sick yet. Also, don't feed them gross food, though. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk to this character. This is Michelle. Stand still. Let me get a look at you. Okay. You're looking a little tired, but I'll bet I look worse. I've been in here since the big game. I know I could have left when the evacuation started, but Eugene... Eugene? My husband. He never came home. Is this your home? No, but it's one of the houses I had on the market. I knew it would be empty. So she's like a realtor. I left a note on the table for Eugene. I promised I'd wait. It's been a long week. So yeah, she's been waiting for her husband for a week now. I don't think he's gonna show up. Sorry about your husband. Thanks, so am I. Whatever happened to him out there, I hope it was quick. What about you? What's got you wandering around the neighborhood like this? I've got a shelter not far from here. Why don't you join us? You're kidding. Really? Really? It's kind of you to offer, but I don't know you. We've got to look out for each other. Maybe you're right. So we have the option to recruit a new survivor. This would be our first woman in our group. So her traits are keyring. She creates more lockpicks when crafting at the workbench. Small stomach. She loses less hunger each phase. We actually have a lot of food, but that's still helpful. She's an insomniac, though. That's her negative trait. Loses more rest each phase. We're going to go ahead and let her join us. Even though we got to feed her, it's always helpful to have new members. So we convinced her. So she'll be at our shelter when we go back there. So I think we're done with this map. I don't think there's anything else for us here. So I cut out the map that I sent Darrel to because there wasn't really much to do there. But we come back to the shelter and we got an event here, a faint transmission. A lead is discovered. It seems like someone is organizing an airlift out of the city. We should comb the city for radio sets and try to intercept their transmissions. So that's been unlocked in the escape plans. Alright, so now we're in the night phase. So we're going to start by going through all of our characters and seeing who has needs that need to be taken care of. So we want to feed everybody. So Leo, we'll go ahead and start with him. Again, we do have a bit of food. We've got goulash, of course, all those vegetables, and meat stew. We also got a lot of raw meat. So we need to do a bit more cooking, it would seem. We're going to go ahead and feed Leo the meat stew. I think Frank can hold out for a bit longer. He's not quite as low on the food, but he does need to sleep. And so that's what he's going to be doing tonight. I think he's the one that's the most tired of all of our characters. So again, we have the shelter beds, and then we have that cot, which I think is just not as good. And so we're going to have him sleep in the shelter bed. Joe's also not doing too bad on food, but Michelle is ravenously hungry. I guess that makes sense. She was there alone. Who knows if she had enough food. So let's give her some meat stew as well. Actually, maybe we want to give her the goulash because that's a large amount of hunger. And then I guess she's going to need to eat the meat stew in addition to that. Alright, so everybody's good when it comes to hunger and rest. Seems like morale's not too bad. Joe's a little low. So I guess we could have him do that. Go in the communal area to work on his morale. We're good on the barricade, so nobody needs to work on that. But we do need additional weapons, so we're going to get our whittler, Darrel, working on that. Because we have the level 2 weapons bench, we have a few options available. You know what, guys? We probably shouldn't get anything just yet. Let me see. Does Michelle have any traits that matter when it comes to crafting? Should be good in the workbench, I guess, if you're going to do lockpicks. We'll have her do some crafting. She needs to start earning her keep. I wanted to make sure that we had the resources to get some stuff crafted in the workbench before we did anything with the weapons. So let's get the dismantling station level 2. And then could also do the better beds. That'd be an option. Or the communal area level 2. Yeah, you know what? Let's go and get that one. Although morale hasn't been too much of an issue. That will require us to work on this for multiple days, as each of these has a task size of 3, but you can only do 5 in a day. So it makes sense to work on one more. Maybe the beds? Seems that's the only option. Okay, so we're going to get the better beds. Alright, so that's good for Michelle. So we have Darrel and Leo. And Darrel is going to work on the weapons. We'll have to see what all he can even craft now, since we did use a lot of resources. We could make another spike bat, but you know what? Let's go with the tomahawk since it's quieter. And we're also going to get some broken bottles. Those can only be used once, but that's the same case with the knife. It can also only be used once, and this only uses the bottle resource. So we'll get a couple of those. We cannot repair the pistol because we're lacking some of the necessary resources. And then with our last character, Leo, we're going to have him go out. I'm going to show you guys what the maps look like at night. So we're going to go to 22 Springwood Drive. Has a lot of food, some base resources. And this is a potential shelter as well. So that'll show you guys how that works. Basically, you just need to clear the map of any zombies, and then it becomes a location that you can move your shelter to. And we're going to bring the hatchet and a lead pipe. Could also bring a lockpick. Yeah, we'll bring one. Worst comes to worst, we can just get rid of it if there's nothing that we need it for. They're not difficult to craft. So we only have the one character going out tonight. And the nights are quite dark. You have your flashlight, but that does alert the zombies. So it's not like, say, The Last of Us, where they're, if you want to call them zombies, they're infected, did not notice lights. Alright, so we got one on the other side of this door here. So we'll take her out somewhat silently and see what all we can find. Just junk food. I almost missed this area over here, which has a lot more resources. Alright, so we're going to take all that for now. I doubt we'll be able to keep all of it. We'll have to see. Oh, this location has a basement. Alright, so we're going down into the creepy basement. And there's a zombie right there. See if we can get him taken out silently without that other one seeing. No, we are not able to. Alright, excellent. So we got hit once, but not too bad. And it looks like we didn't awaken any of their zombies, so that's good. We left the bottles, which I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm glad that we brought the lockpick, because we do actually need it here. So let's see what's on this side of the door. And it looks like we found a bone saw, so that's a new weapon. Our hatchet. Close to break-in, so we'll want to pick that up, and frankly we're going to have to rearrange some of these resources because we definitely want to bring the tape and the fasteners. We don't really need the junk food, so let's go ahead and transfer that over. We have plenty of vegetables, so I think that'd be the next thing, or maybe the medicine, because again we don't really need that, but we want the healing kit as well. So let's get rid of those vegetables. Nobody needs those, right? And then get the rest of this stuff here. Alright, excellent. So as in any survival type game, inventory management is always a fun part of the equation. I assume you can loot this backpack. And we're able to pick everything up. Excellent. And I'm guessing there's going to be a zombie on the other side. Oh, wait a minute. There are several zombies on the other side. I don't think it's going to be worth going in there. But if we wanted to actually use this location, then we would have to kill those zombies. But we have a lot of other shelter locations, potential shelters. We're all filled up on resources, so I really don't think it's worth going in there and fighting 3 zombies. Maybe if you had like a shotgun or something. I think we did good tonight. We got a good amount of resources from that house, and we got a few things produced within the shelter as well. As you see that the undead have attacked, and then again they're bringing the barricades down by 2 points. When you first get the shelter, that starts with just 1 point for each night. As I stated, that does get worse the longer that you're in a shelter. So I think Leo might need to sleep more than anybody else. Yeah, looks like he needs to sleep the most. Darrel's also a little bit tired, but Leo deserves a good rest since he went out in both of the phases of yesterday. So we'll let him take a day nap. Again, he very much deserves it. Let's take a look at the food situation, see who's hungry. It seems that Joe could eat a little bit. So we'll give him the junk food, just to put it up by a bit. Alright, so for our daytime phase, we have Frank, who remember is our good cook. He's cooking up some meat stew for the group. Joe, which he has the gearhead trait, so he's good for dismantling. So we've got him dismantling these broken pistols. That'll get us that resource we need to construct our first gun. I think we'll be a little bit short, so we'll need to find another pistol that we can dismantle, maybe another 2, because I think each one grants us 3. And we're also dismantling the scales. That gets us the electrical resources that we need to make a lot of things in the workbench. Michelle is still on the workbench getting that stuff finished up. And you notice that she is suffering from grief because of her husband, accepting the fact that he is probably dead. So she'll have a chance to start recovering this by spending time in the communal area. So it might be something we want her to do after she finishes up on the workbench. And so with Leo sleeping, the only character still remaining is Darrel. And so he'll be the one that we're going to send out today. And I think we'll have him go to the taxi depot, where Leo failed last time. And let's bring some weapons that'll be a bit better for remaining sneaky. Go ahead and bring one more bottle, and then we'll also need something that can do a bit of damage in case we get in a real fight. So let's go ahead and use the makeshift spiked bat. Since this is a location that has a lot of zombies, far more than it did before, because I woke all those ones up, I don't think they'll go back to sleep. The maps are the way that you left them, so you can slowly clear them out. So I was saying it doesn't really hurt to leave a map and come back unless you leave it in the state that I did. Although it looks like they did go back to sleep. All right, excellent. So that helps us out. But I assume there's still going to be a zombie walking around over here. We'll see, guys. Because I did kill that one. No, looks like that one is gone. Alright, excellent. And you know what, guys? Since we're going to be trying to do some sneak kills here, let's use those broken bottles, since they only last for one time. Could move upstairs to kill her. I think we probably should, because she's the one who hurt us last time and got us caught. She heard us kill that one zombie. If I can get over there quickly. Hurry, hurry. Nope. So as you can see, these fists do not work out well. I don't think anybody hurt us while we were fighting. The fists are quiet, as was the broken bottle. So there is that. We can go upstairs using that lever. Let's first loot this. And you do need to be kind of quick when you're looting around zombies. I don't know if going out here has... Yeah, there's really no reason to go out here unless you're just trying to escape. But it's good to know that that's a viable escape route. So let's go ahead and head up to the rooftop. We've already seen that there's at least one zombie up here. And because these guys are asleep as well. Can we hide behind that? We can. Alright, excellent. So we're going to want to do that. Yeah, because I don't think we'll get over there before it turns around. We would not have. So we'll hide behind this. We'll let the zombie come over here. And then we'll kill it with our bottle. Hopefully. That's the idea anyways. With a stealth kill without waking those other zombies up. So let's get this thing dealt with. If we use one of those louder weapons, we would have for sure have woken those ones up because they're pretty close. So we got one more bottle, just clearing out our inventory, and that's where I find those to be pretty useful. We might go ahead and take a look at the other side of the roof first. There's nothing on the other side except for that one sleeping zombie that we already knew about. So hopefully we can get this guy taken out. Or gal, looks like that's a female zombie who's walking through the car. It's incredible. So again, this is early access. There are some bugs, guys. So I wanted to get that zombie killed before we went down there, because you know they're going to be coming back around here in a minute. Now they might be able to see us on the ladder. Not entirely sure. I've seen them see us on the ladder before. And since they're walking through the car, I don't know if we can safely hide behind it. Probably not. Let's just use the ladder, guys, and wait for it to come over here. And then we'll go back down and kill it. And we need to do it before it goes into the car, because I don't know if that's going to create any issues, you know, that bug. But as I was saying, this is where I do find it useful. I was just walking through the wall as well. I do find it useful to have those bottles, even if they can only be used once, because they don't require a lot of resources in order to craft them. Damn, she got into the car. I don't know if that's going to create any issues for us. Guess we'll find out. Yeah, we cannot kill it. Okay, so we'll just loot this car here. So that's an unfortunate bug. Again, it is early access, guys. So you're going to see things like that. We're going to go back this way real quick. Just make sure we clear out any zombies behind us. Okay, so I think that's it. We just need to loot this location. We'll make sure we have a clear area to run if we get into trouble. So these electrical resources, that's one of the key components that we currently need. I don't know if we can drop that cab on a zombie. I would hope so. Yeah, I don't know how to get past this one. Maybe a bottle if I had it, which I don't think we do have any bottles. If we threw that, that might get it back. You know, get it back on its area. Let's just fight this guy. Using the hatchet. I don't know if it can even come after us because it's so broken. No, it can't. Okay, so that's the first time I've seen that bug. At least it can't go after us. I don't know if it can still like scream and alert. Oh Lord. Okay. So we had a zombie just come out of nowhere. I guess you can make the argument that it climbed from underneath the cab, but this area is clearly bugged. So again, this is the first time I've seen this bug in the game, and again we have the zombie over here. Can't attack us and can't even seem to see us. So I think we should be alright to loot, because I want to get both of these two components if we can here, so we're going to have to get rid of a few things. But I'm worried about it like waking up other zombies, because that's certainly an issue. Even though we don't have a pistol, we probably want to get the ammunition and we want to get the tape. So we're going to have to get rid of one of these weapons. I think we'll get rid of the broken bottle. Maybe we'll come back for the pistol ammunition once we use up these weapons here. So yeah, I'm worried that they're going to all wake up because of that zombie. So maybe we should instead go up and through the window. Probably the better way to go about doing this. So let's first take out this zombie here. That'll break our weapon. and open up another slot. Get that screwdriver out now. Should be able to get everything that's important here. We don't actually want the unidentified pills. They might be good, I don't know, because it applies a random state. So you have no idea what that random state is going to be. You can hop out the window here. That's the way we'll probably go. Do need to take this zombie out real quick with our screwdriver. There's also a zombie, or that's a person up above there. Okay, so maybe another survivor we can recruit. And we found the vantage point, which has unlocked the Texas Sport Supply. Alright, excellent. So that's one of the key things that we wanted here at this location, is that vantage point. Let's go up here and talk to this survivor. I don't know if there's any limits to the number of survivors you can have. Let's see if we're able to recruit Aubrey here. So she says, let me join. I know something that could help us both. So she does not have as many traits as the other characters. She only has one positive trait, veterinarian. Crafts more items at the medical area for the same cost. That's a good one. And then she has refined taste. She loses morale from eating junk food or uncooked meals. Usually not too much of an issue if you're cooking regularly. So we're going to say happy to have you. And I don't know if there's any limit. It might just be your food supplies. Maybe that's the limit. How many people you can reasonably feed. Maybe 8 or 10? I'm not sure if they do have a limit, I mean. Alright, so let's go back down the ladder. And then we're going to go out this window and then go back into the building through this direction, where hopefully we don't run into any more bugged zombies. We do need to take care of this guy over here with our screwdriver. Again, this is one of the more silent weapons. And you know what? Let's go and clear the way home. I think this is it. Yeah. So just make sure that if we need to run, we can run this way. And there aren't any zombies in between us and the exit. Alright, so there's a few sleeping in this location. So let's go ahead and loot real quick. Get those much needed resources. And you know what? I don't know if there's any reason to go in here. These ones are sleeping. I guess if you can loot. Oh, that one's kind of awake. Some beer. We want that metal and the tape. So let's get rid of that. And let's get the tape. And then let's get out of here, because we actually have 2 stacks of the metal. And we do need to equip a weapon, but I think we're alright, because we're about to leave the map. So I believe we got everything here. So let's return to the shelter, where again, it is night. So I think we got a pretty good haul here. Even though we only went to the one location, we also produced a bunch of stuff as well. A lot of that was from breaking down that equipment. And it seems all our characters have some needs that need to be taken care of. Like Michelle, we already know what we want her to do. She's going to go to that communal area. So assign that survivor. We can now have 3 survivors there. Aubrey is our new character. She needs a bit of sleep. I think Darrel needs to sleep a bit more. Could have them both sleep. But somebody needs to be working on repairing the barricades today. So I'll probably have Leo do that, since he's our one extra character. Could have him go out as well, but let's have him work on the barricades, make sure that those don't become an issue. So Frank is currently cooking. With all these characters, we have a high need for food. Joe is dismantling that broken pistol, and then Michelle and Aubrey are in the communal area trying to restore their morale. She's trying to get over the death of her husband, while Darrel is sleeping. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and play through the night, and this is going to be the last phase that we do, since I do want to make sure that we're able to go out again today, clear another map. So Michelle gained the grief recovering. She She lost regular grief, so she's starting to recover from the loss of her husband. You can see that the undead attacks have now stepped up, where we're losing 3 barricades every day. So now, if we only worked on this for one phase, then we'd only be repairing the damage that is done each night. But that's with the small repairs, and we can actually step up those repairs, getting the barricade level 2 so that we could stay here a bit longer. Because one of the negatives of leaving a shelter is I believe that all of your workstations are lost. Now you keep your loot that you have, in your inventory, but I believe you lose the workstations. Now correct me if I'm wrong on that, because I haven't actually left the shelter once I started working on these stations. For my first shelter, I just collect resources, go to a few maps, collect a few resources, and then I move to another shelter before I start building the workstations. But we do have a lot of stuff that we can work on today. Obviously the barricade level 2 would be helpful. Could also get the weapons bench level 3. Could step up some of our other workstations, get the improved beds, which we did get that one bed. So let me see if the cot has changed. It looks exactly the same, but it is a level 2 now. So that means that it would result in them getting more rest recovery if they used it. We also opened up new location over here, the Texas Sport Supply. So this potential shelter is pretty good because it starts out with 2 shelter beds and also a garden, which is something we have at this location I haven't shown yet. But then it also has the water collector, which we do not have at this location. Let me find somebody. Show you guys where the garden is. At this shelter, it's on the roof. And this does take a phase to plant the seeds, but you can plant coffee beans, medicinal herbs, and vegetables. The problem is that you need a lot of water in order to do this. So the water collector, since it's used both for the garden and for cooking, essentially ensures that between that and the garden, you would always have a supply of food. Again, you'd have to use your characters to do the gardening. But yeah, that would be a good location to move to. Like I said, I do believe you're going to lose all your workstations. Does that mean you're going to have to go do a lot more collecting of resources in order to build it back up? But we're already at the point where we have some high-level stations, and I don't think there's anything else after the level 3s. So I guess that's a way to keep you playing, give you stuff to do. I like the shelter moving. It makes sense that the zombies would slowly figure out where you're at, and thus more and more of them would be attacking your location. And so I like that. I just don't like that you lose the workstations, if that is in fact the case, which I only know that as people have complained about it on the Steam reviews. So I hope you guys did enjoy this first video. If you did, let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see a second episode. Also make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification bell. I do hope to see you guys on another video, and thanks for watching.